if you're going to protest.
There's no point in protesting if you're only going to end up within the same system that is causing the spectrum of social disorder. All systems are in decline, and it is because of the market economy itself. See, it justifies itself by the recognition of scarcity, yet due to its structural mechanics, promotes and rewards infinite cyclical consumption. If everyone were to be sovereign, have their own food, power, water, the whole neighborhoods were to do that for 30 days, even 7 days, the entire economy would collapse. So a sustainable system is literally not possible within the market economy. There's also no answer to technological unemployment, where everyone is out of a job and displaced due to automation, and only the ownership class own the labor technologies. You've probably heard of a universal basic income, but that still doesn't solve any of the problems. Our ecological decline will still be perpetuated and will be under a surveillance capitalism state. What do? We declare Earth common heritage and utilize our exponential disruptive innovations to provide a global abundance. Many that share the same sentiments are calling this a resource-based economy. We need less jobs, we need more free time to enjoy our actual lives, the fruits of our labor. Now we have the means to. These homes are 3D printed from the ground, from Earth, and are about $900 each. There's no excuse. We can feed, clothe, and house everyone in humanity. Look, and you can still be bougie with it. They did a collab with Dior. All we need is a small percentage of the population to start talking about this. We can start gaining some traction, building a movement towards creating a different society for us. Follow my page if you want to learn more. I talk about this all the time. Yeah, 20 years ago, they knew where the technology was going to be today. All you do is follow trends like Moore's Law, Wright's Law, things of that nature. So everything's about to pop off in the mid-2020s, late 2020s. See, 20 years ago, genome sequencing was $100 million. 20 years later, today, it's only $1,000. And now we're going to see a convergence of these exponential disruptive innovations across all sectors. What that means is you'll be able to do 10 times as much at 1/10 the cost, or have 100 times the more power, things like that. So you responded to my video saying that nanotechnologies will never happen. Well, this came out 1 week ago. Nanorobot antibodies that fight cancer enter first human drug trial. So there's no turning back now. It just happened, got approval. It's only a matter of time before we reach lifespan, longevity, escape velocity around 2035, and then aging will be cured, and so will all diseases. We only have maybe a decade, if that, left of human innovation before we reach the technological singularity, where now we have the computing capacity of a human and more. Something else to consider is that 80% of the workforce is in the service sector, and these are task-based jobs, and those will become irrelevant quickly as AI advances. I think it only takes like 30% of unemployment to destabilize the nation. So imagine when 80% of people are out of a job. Last year I was saying the potential of automation, everyone was writing me off. Now that this chat GPT comes out and everyone knows about it, people are starting to quiver in their boots, even programmers. So it's imperative that we move away from the monetary system and enter in a resource-based economy where the world is declared common heritage, and we utilize our advancements to provide global abundance in an access-based, decentralized manner. We need less jobs, more free time to enjoy our lives. Now that we can have those jobs done by automation, we have more time to live. I recommend Zeitgeist Moving Forward documentary, as well as Paradise or Oblivion by the Venus Project. Now, these are 10 years old. We need people to start making new documentaries. If anyone wants to team up and reach out, hit me up. Let's go. Own nothing and be happy. Well, first of all, we don't own anything, and it's not going to get any better. Look, the wealthiest 10% already own 90% of the stock markets. It's all just fun and games. It's all pretend. Nearly 1 in 5 homes sold bought by institutional investors. What does that mean? Welcome to rentism. You're not going to own anything. You're going to just rent forever. There's even consideration of 50-year mortgages that could pass down generations. It's just around the corner. I'm sure y'all have seen this chart where just a small amount of companies own everything in the food industry. Everything you buy. Is that freedom? And this is pretty much in every sector. This is the media. Like 6 companies own all the TV you watch. So y'all know about Clousy Boy, but do you know about BlackRock? They manage $10 trillion worth of assets. They manage it. That means they have a say in what happens. 8 people own more than the rest of half of the world. You already don't own anything. You're not going to bootlick your way up to the top. You'll never be one of these peeps. What I'm here to tell you is that it's not a conspiracy. It's the name of the game. Maintain differential advantage. Constantly consume infinite growth. There's no biosphere regard whatsoever. It's the market system itself that perpetuates this infinite growth acquisition paradigm. All these conspiracies have no relevance. They're maybe even perpetuated by the media to keep you from doing anything. All you do is talk about it and talk about it, but you still support the system which you're being controlled by, which is the monetary system itself. That's why I propose a new economic model for the entire world called a resource-based economy. We declare Earth common heritage, utilize our advancements that are exponentially happening to provide a global abundance, an access-based, decentralized system, a way where nobody could ever control anybody. It's decentralized. Look, you're talking about all these conspiracies from the World Economic Forum. How are they controlling us? Through the money. If we got rid of the money system, united as a human species, and stopped being divided and conquered, we can get somewhere. If anybody is talking about anything that is dividing all humanity, or if they're talking about anything other than us being fed, housed, clothed, having access to resources, then you're being divided and conquered. We can unite for these.
Set up what's called a resource-based economy.
This made my day. A comedian's talking about a resource-based economy. It's where the Earth is declared common heritage, and we utilize our exponential disruptive innovations to provide a global access abundance in a decentralized manner. You see, the current monetary market system is now obsolete. There's no answer to technological unemployment. You see, about 80% of jobs right now are in the service sector, and these are all task-based jobs. And due to a convergence of exponential disruptive innovations across all sectors, we will continue to see a decline in these human-based task jobs. Now, before you go blaming the billionaires, they're just playing the game. Imagine we're all playing Monopoly. Of course, once it becomes cost-effective to replace a human worker, you have to do it, because if not, it's competitive nature of the market. Someone else is going to do it. So we're going to see a trend similar to what happened in the farm industry, where up to 90% of the population worked there. And over time, now only 2.6% of the population work in that industry. Due to the compounding nature of these technologies, we're going to see an accelerating rate of change. In the next 10 years, we'll have more advancements than the previous 300. There's also no solution in the market for resource overshoot, where humanity uses all the biological resources that the Earth regenerates during the entire year. You see, the market justifies itself by the recognition of scarcity, but due to its structural mechanics, promotes and rewards infinite cyclical consumption. There's also more debt in existence than actual currency, so we can never pay it back, ever. Yeah, so it's been really fun. For about 2,200 people, that's the amount of billionaires there are in the entire world. That amount of people could fit into a local venue, not a stadium, but a local theater. Alright, so the jig is up. Ask anybody. There's no answer to technological unemployment other than a surveillance state, universal basic income. There's no answer to resource overshoot because we're in this infinite growth paradigm. And there's no answer to the infinite debt problem. There's more debt in existence than money, and that's always going to be the case. So we just need 3.5% of the population to start talking about the resource-based economy, and then we can start implementing these protocols, the degrowth protocols, and transitioning into this new society. And I think media is a really great way to do that, like this comedian did here, and like many do on their TikToks, talking about things that are relevant and a new alternative for us to live our lives. I see a lot of defeatist comments appealing to futility, as if we have no choice in how our future happens because of the powerful rich. I want to call you guys out. I think you're just saying it to be cool and edgy, because I don't think a lot of you have really, truly given up. You see, 30 to 60 days of no purchasing in most industries would bring that industry down to a halt. We could collapse any sector we wanted to by just opting out. So a lot of the all defeatists are out there still supporting this whole thing to keep us down. All you have to do is opt out, not do anything. This is everything that I own, that I take with me everywhere that I have to go. 4 bags, 2 guitars. There's my bed. Toiletries, all winter, summer clothes, everything fits in here. I only make a purchase maybe twice a year for new clothes if I need any, but it has to remain in this minimalist concept. Fast fashion is one of the worst polluters. 93% of them don't pay workers a living wage. And a third of all the microplastics in the ocean are from the fashion industry. Talk about the land back movement and resource waste. 41% of the US land is used for livestock production. So you guys haven't given up. I guarantee you everyone's still eating meat. I have been a vegan for going on 11 years now. Global land use would drop by 75% if everyone ditched beef and went vegan. So apparently there's not a lot of people giving up yet. You're not giving up enough. A lot of the land, which was indigenous land, was turned into deserts due to overgrazing. It's called desertification due to overgrazing. So if you're going to have this defeatist mentality, then start being about it. Let it rot. Don't do anything. Don't aspire. Don't have any aspirations. For me, I'm only pursuing music and media for this resource-based economy. I'm not going to have a career, nothing. If I have to be unhoused again, which I was, then I will. I have nothing to look forward to, nor do any of us that weren't born into billionaire families. Opt out of everything as much as you can. No purchases other than food and your passion in the arts, things like that, things that are human. There's a lot of virtue in idleness. If we just did nothing, that would have so much power. So if y'all are going to be defeatist, appealing to futility, then be about it. Be minimalist. Give up that meat. Go vegan. Start taking care of yourself. Screw work. Only do what's going to make you happy. Just do enough to get by and then pursue your passions. Everything's going to be automated anyway and everyone's going to be out of work. That's why I'm optimistic in all my videos. I have nothing left. Nothing, no future to look forward to other than creating a new one. And so I'm looking for other people that want to do as well. Let's create some media. Let's bring in this resource-based economy and usher in an era of planetary renaissance. Peace. There are a number of ways to make it happen, but first you need some momentum. So we need about 3.5% of the population, or 12 million people, to get behind the idea of the resource-based economy, just to talk about it and agree with it. We need an online community that will effectively scale into a nation state. Starts with the state of mind on the cloud, and then you can crowdfund into actual space. So that's one way to do it. It'll be basically like a Reddit / a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. There's a book that talks about this. It's called The Network State, How to Start a New Country. And it basically says it starts with a highly aligned online community with the capacity for collective action that crowdfunds territory around the world and eventually gains diplomatic recognition from pre-existing states. From there, we may get some countries that want to get on board and adopt the resource-based economy, and that's when we start rolling out the degrowth protocols. People are starting to figure out that the infinite growth, cyclical consumption market economy isn't going to work out for the planet. So with degrowth, it's instead of cyclical consumption, it's about an equitable life for all, including ecological conditions on the planet. And it doesn't depend on continuous expansion, which our current model does. And from there, we could start to see governments start to wind down or decentralize themselves. We enter in a state of ephemeralization, of doing more and more with less. So we're going to be able to reduce jobs, reduce working hours, have universal basic income, universal basic services, things of that nature. So we switch from geopolitics to biosphere consciousness. We do away with a number of things like planned obsolescence, artificial scarcity, advertisements. We can consider capping income. Maybe we stop at $1 billion per person. Now with ephemeralization, we can do more and more with less. Our advancements are exponential. See, genome sequencing used to be $100 million. Now it's $1,000. And it's due to a thing called zero marginal cost we're seeing across all sectors. So most things are actually going to be more affordable and accessible than ever. We don't need people having more wealth than half of the population. We adopt ephemeralist ideals. We wind down all the governments. We use less and less jobs as much as possible, more and more efficiency in regards to our access and ecological conditions. We focus on optimum design and access in a decentralized manner. And right now, a lot of our cities are based around cars and not really bioregional, so we can start eventually building new cities. This is a great video. They have like an operating system for a city and how it's all integrated and connected. We could start looking at these kind of things for ideas. I want to start an anti-capitalist homeless shelter. Right now, they just try and rehabilitate you as if it's your fault and you did something wrong, that you were born into the paradigm of infinite growth and debt servitude. And also, just like with the 12-step program, they only offer you help if you accept another oppressive idea like religion. And then you're just shuffled off back into hopefully getting 40 years of 9 to 5 with endless toiling to no avail. That's not thriving at all. So the shelter would be advocating for a resource-based economy and showing people that a new paradigm is possible for humanity. It's not just shaming people for their predicament. It's showing that societies with high social stratification, along with concentrations of wealth, lead to a number of factors of biopsychosocial stressors. Even in the womb, whenever a mother is experiencing stress, it's passed on. So this is a generational thing. This is a poverty thing. This is a capitalist thing. Mind you, there are only 2,200 billionaires, 2,000 billionaires in the entire world. Don't you ever shame someone for having less than $1 billion, a million, or anything, not having their own way to live. Because you know what, your bloodline has been here for aeons, and you know what, you have not amassed billions, and you never will. Your whole bloodline has not amassed even a fraction of what the billionaires have. Alright, so this hierarchy is done for, jobs are done for, the whole market is done for. We just need a peaceful way and a comfortable way to transition into the new society, the resource-based economy, where Earth is declared common heritage and we utilize our advancements to provide a global abundance in an access-based, decentralized manner. You want to hear something wild? 41% of the land in the States is used for livestock agriculture. And a third of the crops grown altogether is for livestock. So perhaps the entire new city of the resource-based economy model plan design can be used on land that was from agriculture. Maybe if there's like a mass opt-out of animal products, all these places will go bankrupt really quickly, and we'll have a plan in order to scoop up all the land before another entity does. You see the yellow on this map? That is all the land used for livestock production, and then the land to the right of it, a good portion of that is for crops to feed the livestock. Highly inefficient. And get this, a third of all food is wasted in the States. It goes to waste. So we're doing all this to animals and they're just being wasted. There's no respect at all. We really need to start thinking about the society we want to create. In an age where the quantum computer will be here, the notion of privacy will become meaningless. Whenever we have quantum computing, cloud computing, any password can be decrypted. Nothing is safe. So in the monetary system, what happens whenever any of your passwords can be compromised in a matter of seconds, not years or days, seconds? Well, you're going to have a lot of incentive for people that will take your money. They're going to have access to all of your information and your passwords. There will be no privacy. And also imagine whenever everything is connected to the cloud, the Internet of Things, and your location, real time, everything is shared. Now, if that concerns you just as an individual, imagine how companies feel. According to some cybersecurity professionals, 50% of their organizations are at risk right now for harvest now, decrypt later attacks, where they take all the information now, they can't crack it, but they're going to wait until we have these quantum computing capabilities to harvest the data. Another reason why the monetary system is no longer relevant and it no longer will serve us. That's why it's imperative that we create a resource-based economy. We're in the internet age and now we're all connected anyway, there's no turning back. Now we can declare Earth common heritage and use our advancements to provide a global abundance in a decentralized manner, an access-based society. All of the world leaders, economists, etc. have no answer to this. There's more debt in existence than actual currency. This fictional notion of debt is going to be toppling countries and people for years and years and decades. Someday the chickens are going to have to come home to roost. So it would just take 12 million people to come together and talk about it to get things going. I mean, unless you think the 9 to 5 until you're 65 and then you get like 13 years left to decay is the best option for us, then we got to start considering what our options are and what we can do. And I'm seeing the only viable option is the resource-based economy. This is a neat documentary that was made a while ago. We also need media. We need some people to make a new documentary, new films, new awareness about this movement to get the zeitgeist going. We could also organize a big festival that spreads awareness about this. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Since 2000, clothing sales have doubled from 100 to 200 billion units per year, while the average number of times an item was worn decreased by 36%. The fashion industry generates more CO2 than aviation and shipping. Weren't we calling out the billionaires the other day for taking their private jets? Well, we have more power than them just by opting out of fast fashion. 93% of brands aren't paying garment workers a living wage, and a lot of those workers are women. It's the main ones that you see in the mall, all the fast fashion brands. You gotta opt out of those. 1 in 3 young women, the biggest segment of consumers, consider garments worn once or twice to be old. What? Yeah, 5 out of the 250 brands surveyed are paying a living wage. 5 out of 250. You care about the oceans? Well, you gotta stop with the fast fashion. Over a third of all microplastics in the ocean come from synthetic textiles in the fashion industry. Everyone's getting mad at the billionaires. We're the ones turning them into billionaires. It's kind of a crazy paradox. So we need the market system because there's not enough to go around. But the way it works is like, let's consume everything as much and as fast as possible because we need people to be employed. It's infinite cyclical consumption, no regard to the biosphere whatsoever. I only have 6,000 followers on my page, so we need 12 million people to actually change the world. So I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to convince like all of America to stop opting out of purchasing. So maybe we could all get together and create a festival, start creating some media. But if anyone's talking about politics or conspiracies, they have no relevance anymore. I mean, they literally gave us a chart saying how many days of each industry of no sales before they would go out of business. So there's so much power in just not doing anything. Opt out of all purchases as possible. For me, I'm just doing food. I go to live music bars and I get guitar strings here and there. On the other side of the world, the youth are realizing this. They're doing something called bailon, or just let it rot. They're not doing anything. They're done. They know no matter how much they grind or whatever, they're not going to be able to make it out of poverty. And we're seeing the same thing happening over here. The middle class is going away. So the best thing to do is take away their power, which we're giving them through purchases. The storage industry alone is getting 40 billion a year. And I told you guys that for $200 million, we could have geothermal plants that could power the city. For 460 geothermal plants, we could power the entire United States. All right, but we got a plan. Once things start failing because we chose to opt out, we're going to need a set of demands to implement our new socioeconomic society, and that's why I advocate for a resource-based economy. We declare Earth common heritage and utilize our exponential innovations to provide a global abundance in a decentralized manner. Most of the drawings of a resource-based economy come from Jacques Fresco, the founder of the Venus Project. Let's walk through the basic design. So at the center is going to be the central hub or core. It's going to have resource management, education, healthcare, communication networks. Around that, it's going to be the professional buildings like office spaces, institutions, research laboratories, 3D printing, clothes. After that, we'll have our green belt, which is kind of a green open space, and then that will lead us into our residential belts. After that, you've got the apartment buildings. Beyond the apartment buildings will be the agricultural belt. It'll have hydroponics, veganic systems, permaculture, things of that nature. Walk a little further beyond that, and you have your recreational belt. Walking, hiking, bike paths, leisure, things of that nature. Keep in mind, in the RBE, houses will be hyper-localized. So what you see here is just what he designed for in Florida, in Venus, Florida. So every RBE, every city is going to be different and specific to the materials that are within its region. See, over in New Mexico, they have a totally different building style. They've encoded it into their building laws, actually, so every building has to look a certain way, but they can still be unique, see? They already have earth ships out there, these bio-sustainable homes made from recycled materials. No, Jacques Fresco did it all himself, but what I think we have to do is hire architecture firms to actually design a city, and we'll have to sit with them and give them the ideas of this access-based, decentralized city. Or just start talking to people that do architecture, 3D design. Honestly, maybe we'll just have an AI do it in the next few years. It may just be easier to build the resource-based economies and start moving people there than updating our current hodgepodge cities. But check this out. This is all the space we use right now for all of our cities all together, the pink space. It's pretty astounding what we use. This yellow space is all for pasture range livestock. So there's plenty of space that we could use to build these new cities. Good day to you, and what better way to start today off by establishing our energy independence. All right, 3 minutes or less, I'm going to solve the energy crisis in America. All right, so in 2006, MIT did a study assessing the geothermal capacity of the world, and basically we have more than enough zettajoules down there to power the entire world. So using Ethiopia's largest geothermal plant as a base model, it takes about 18,000 geothermal plants to power the entire world alone. And guess what? Only 460 to power the entire United States. Geothermal uses way less land, 404 meters squared per gigawatt hour compared to 3,000, almost 4,000 meters squared per gigawatt hour for coal. All right, but where are we gonna put these bad boys? Well, we can use only 84% of the total space of the coal plants today and convert those into geothermal plants and provide power for the entire world. All right, so how much does it cost? I'm seeing anywhere from 200 to 400 million per plant times 460. That's about 380 billion. Sounds like a lot, but guess what? In Chicago, a population of 3 million or less, their GDP is upwards of 700 billion. So alone, there's enough economic activity going on in one small city. By now you must be wondering, gee, why is this not happening if it's totally possible? Well, it's because we are under a market economy. It requires infinite consumption, cyclical purchases. If everyone were to stop purchasing for 30 days, maybe even 7, the entire economy collapses. Look, we even have an Earth Overshoot Day. This year it's July 28th, where we consume more than the Earth is providing. But nobody cares because we have to keep this wheel turning. So what do? We create a movement. I'm creating a media DAO to get media coverage out there. And it's promoting a resource-based economy where we declare Earth common heritage and we utilize our disruptive exponential innovations to provide a global abundance, an access-based, decentralized society. I'm looking for media people, anyone that's good with videos, TV, media, text, things like that. Let's get together. So next time you're out there on the streets or talking to anybody that's in power, yo, we have clear solutions here ready to get going. Let's start talking about it. So a quick heads up, in 15 years, aging will be cured. You'll be able to choose what skin age you want, and you'll be able to choose how long you want to live. It's also going to be for free. It'll be free because the cost of aging in an aging population is economically catastrophic for an economy. Look, even the richest guy in the world is asking everyone to have babies. They need workers. We're in the market system, remember, so they think that humans have infinite wants, and in order to fulfill those, we need infinite growing workers to produce the infinite wants. So yeah, you'll live forever, and it'll be economically feasible because the elderly population will keep active instead of becoming an expense. So it's imperative that we create a different society altogether that's not based on the monetary system and infinite consumption, because we are on a finite planet. And we've got a little under 8 years until we have actual quantum computing that's here. And then from there, every password, every encryption will be able to be cracked. So that's the governments, that's the codes to everything that they have, that's everyone's, even the most richest people's, private funds, sovereign wealth, everything. So we've got about 8 years to get about 12 million people to start talking about the resource-based economy so we can transition and phase out the monetary economic system altogether. Alright, here's a crazy way to save humanity. It's only a matter of time before we have the technological singularity, where AI surpasses human intelligence, leading to a rapid and exponential increase in technological development. Once that happens, it's going to be hard to comprehend how society is going to be like. It'll be like 100 years of advancements happening in the span of 1 year. Every second a Nobel Peace Prize discovery will be made. This goes with ephemeralism, or doing more and more with less and less. Okay, so we reach a point where any problem can be solved essentially. So check this out. Apparently there is an asteroid in space that's worth $10 quintillion, not trillion, quintillion. So what we do from there is plot a mission with our new advanced technology to actually mine it and go get it. And we bring it to the Earth, and then we initiate a universal basic income for everyone. And also it solves the nuclear arms race, because any country that will participate, they're going to need that energy to move the asteroids. So then they'll agree to this worldwide treaty using the arms that we already have. Yeah, and whoever participates, their whole citizens, the whole country is going to be super rich. Using that, we can transition the society to a resource-based economy where the world is declared common heritage, and we utilize our advancements to provide global abundance in an access-based, decentralized manner. It's a post-monetary, post-scarcity, post-government even system. A distributed direct democracy and decentralized application platform can easily be made as well. We'll be in a steady state economy We won't have to go to space to get extra resources, because right now, by 2050, we'll need 2 Earths if everybody can spend like the West does. So it's pretty wild. What do y'all think about that? I'm also looking for people to collaborate and make more videos, long-form content, documentaries, film, things of that nature.